Welcome to Channel 18, and the first guest today is the ever popular Barbara Ann Foley. So Barbara Ann, you have a list of things there that you want to talk about.
I do.
And we're going to start with your review of your last, was it last? No, it's 2 weeks now.
It was 2 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago,
Yeah, we
yes.
had the Rememberewok, which went very well. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate very well with us.
No, it was
but
terrible weather.
It was awful weather. But we did very well, and we had almost 100 people there. And thankfully, donations are still coming in. If anyone has any questions, they can certainly give me a call at the Council on Aging. But one of the things I wanted to highlight is that for every $200 that is donated, a client or family, however you want to put it, is able to be assisted for an entire year at the Alzheimer's Family Support Center of Cape Cod. That's where all of the funds went to. And additionally, they do in our building right here at the community center, the first week and the third week of every month on Wednesdays from 10:30 to 12, they do a free support group. And it's kind of a unique support group in that the patient themselves or the person living with Alzheimer's or dementia or memory impairment goes into one room with a nurse, and then another room has the care partners who are working with them or living with them or taking care of them as it may be. And they're both being supported at the same time. A lot of support groups only have the care partner being supported, which is certainly very important, but then you have to incur the expense of who's going to stay with your loved one while you're at this support group. So consequently, a lot of people don't go. So this provides for both, which is really unique and wonderful. First and third Wednesday of every month, you can come anytime, and it's from 10:30 to 12. We also had different subject. My balance class, Balance Boosters, started this week. You can kind of join in almost any time. It's not a drop-in, however, class, but if you missed the first one or the second one, it's okay. And that goes from 9:30 to 10:30 on Tuesdays and Fridays, and it's $24 for the entire 6-week session. We cover a lot of stretching and strengthening and trying to increase flexibility and, of course, balance with all of that. So if that sounds like you, don't hesitate to join us. Most of the time we're in room 2, which is the bright yellow room. I also wanted to highlight on our van, we have a couple of trips coming up. We get a lot of calls of folks asking me, so when is the van going to the Market Basket? And it is going to the Market Basket on June 13th. It's going to the Orleans TJ Maxx and the Christmas tree shops on June 20th, and to the Cape Cod Mall and Kmart in Hyannis on June 27th. So if any of those sound good to you, you're certainly welcome to join us on any of the Mondays. They usually leave somewhere around 9 o'clock, but you call the van phone, which is 508-241-1566, and make your reservation to go. Supper Club and Senior Dining, the menus are available, and we do have a number of folks that will say, just put me on for every Monday night, and if I can't go to Supper Club, I'll call you. And that works really well for both the Senior Dining lunch program, Tuesdays through Fridays, as well as the Supper Club. So if it's something that you almost don't really care what the meal is, you just want the camaraderie and to be with people and not eat alone, you can do that, and we certainly appreciate when people do that, so we're not having to make lots and lots of phone calls to check on people and find out if they're coming and how they are. And that's a simple phone call to us, or if you're here, you can stop by and let us know. And lastly, I wanted to highlight and let people know that we have a travel trip group that is out of our little travel department. It's a little small desk, and they will take reservations. It's manned a couple of times during the week. And we have one coming up, just as an example, that I wanted to highlight on June 23rd. It's a Thursday. It's called Made in Vermont. And it says, you will visit the company headquarters and baker's store for the King Arthur flour with all things related to baking. Enjoy a cooking demonstration at King Arthur's Cooking School. followed by lunch at the 1797 Norwich Inn. The inn was the inspiration, you might remember, of the Newhart show, which was set in Norwich. And at the end of the day, shopping at the Keachie Gorge Village, which houses Cabot Cheeses, Danforth Pewter, Putney Mountain Winery, and of course, Vermont Country Store, will all be there. And the end of the day, a visit to Simon Pierce flagship store, home of the famed Vermont glassmaker. They'll be doing a live glass blowing demonstration. So that's just one example. That's $129 and includes all of that, lunch and everything. And they transport you up, they transport you back in a nice coach bus. And usually most of the trips are a very relaxing ride wherever you're going. That's a day trip, and we do have a lot of day trips. But we also have a number of trips that will be over the course of a few days, maybe a weekend or a whole week long. So if you haven't visited our Getaway Funtastic trips, look in the May-June newsletter page. There's a whole page of them. And we also have them available by individual sheet in the actual travel department in the Council on Aging. We're always looking for volunteers as well for that. So if you're interested, don't hesitate to let us know. But that just gives you one little example of one of the trips, and they're quite fun, quite entertaining, and usually a really good price. It's a senior discounted price. So that's all for me, Paul.
Well, that would seem to be a good trip for the ladies, huh?
I would think so. Anyone who
Yes.
likes baking.
Yeah.
And
The ladies love baking, don't they?
well, I have a son who happens to love baking too, so I think it's both a male and a female thing.
A female thing. Very good.
But I would myself like to see the glass blowing demonstration. I think that would be very fun up there as well. So
Are you going?
I'm not, unfortunately. I'm not here on that day, that night on the Cape. So I can't go, but it's a nice trip, and
Well,
there's
that
many
sounds
of them. So come and investigate and take a look at them all.
Oh, very good. Well, you got a little itinerary there of things that are going on. The bus goes, does its trip to Hyannis and around three or four times there. So if those appeal to you, make sure you get your reservation in. And so that's about it. And we thank you once again.
Thanks. Thanks for
Barbara Ann.
having me. Thanks for tuning in.